Why should graffiti be considered art? Walking around the city, you look and see that there's many different types of things. Looking at the buildings, you can see different types of murals and graffiti that range from portraits to cartoons. Graffiti has always been painted in a bad light, when in reality, it's an art form that should be recognized as such. The big question is, why should something that's always been in the negative light be portrayed in a lighter narrative? Graffiti and street art is a form of expression. Many people believe that they only express negative views and ideals. Grace Kim, from the article "Can Graffiti Ever Be Considered Art?" states, "Graffiti related to drugs, violence, and gangs are not considered art. It's important to understand the difference between taggers and graffiti artists. Graffiti and tagging is usually used interchangeably when it's not the same thing. Tagging is usually used to mark areas where the person has been and gain a name for themselves, while graffiti and street art leans more towards communication and giving messages through their art." Grace Austin, from the article "The Importance of Street Art," states, "Graffiti and urban art illustrates a sense of creativity and cultural vibrancy that attracts many to areas of Cambridge and other urban cities that may otherwise go unnoticed. Seeing this type of art draws attention to places where no one would think twice about it. It can change or set moods or aesthetics to any place." As an example, we have something like "enjoy your life," but they marked out the F, so "enjoy your lie." These pretty much give a story behind the art. Art also comes in many different forms. Many believe that this type of art defaces buildings. Sam DeLavery, in "Graffiti Should Be Recognized as Art, Not Vandalism," states, "Because of the appreciation for graffiti's beauty instead of viewing graffiti as vandalism, many realize the amount of skill necessary to create this street art and appreciate the message it delivers. Most of the time, graffiti art is used to give a message, and there's also different types of graffiti, just meant to be something colorful with no real meaning." And from the article "Is Graffiti Art or Vandalism?" Angie Cordick says, "But you would feel the same way if you saw a really breathtaking piece from graffiti art in an otherwise dull wall in the city." There's multiple different regard for art in museum compared to art on the walls outside. The world should be thought of as an open canvas for creativity. And Brenda Tack, from "What is the Purpose of Graffiti?" states, "The purpose of graffiti can also be to tell a story. It can tell you about a specific moment in time where everything is either went bad or good. It can tell you about people, politics, culture, art, places, and society in general. It can be used to express yourself anonymously. It can also be used just as another act of vandalism. This form of art can really only be labeled by the viewer themselves. There is a range of different opinions that people have given of this form, which is why it's usually considered controversial. And another example would be how dull in comparison the different sides of the building compared to where it's painted with very vibrant colors and sometimes characters. So expression in the form of art can both be eye-opening and beautiful. The type of art should not matter whether it is not there that there's a message behind it or if there is no meaning behind the art. Most of the time, graffiti artists don't intentionally deface property. They can also ask the owners of the building if they could paint on it, sometimes for movements. Art is an interesting form of expression that should be appreciated in all forms.